My grandfather started crying. When I asked, "Why didn't you teach me how to drive in high school? I'm the only 18-year-old I know without a driver's license. Not by choice. My grandfather raised me and refused to teach me. My grandfather never showed emotion. Not once in 18 years did I see him cry or break down. He was quiet, careful, and kept everything inside. But he wouldn't even drive himself. We take Ubers everywhere, even though it costs us over $1,000 every month. When anyone asks why, he just says he's too old and changes the subject. On my 18th birthday, I finally confronted him. "Grandpa, why didn't you teach me how to drive in high school like everyone else?" His face went white. Then he started sobbing and locked himself in his bedroom. I stood outside his door completely confused. I'd never seen him cry before, not once in my entire life. This wasn't a normal reaction to a simple question. Something was seriously wrong and I needed to know what it was. I thought about how weird his behavior had always been around cars. We spent over $1,000 every single month on Ubers and public transit. $1,000 for 17 years. That's over $200,000 spent on transportation because my grandfather refused to drive or let me learn. It never made sense. He always sat in the back seat of Ubers, never the front. He'd get visibly nervous whenever I even mentioned wanting to get my license. He'd change the subject or leave the room. This wasn't normal behavior for a 59-year-old man who should still be perfectly capable of driving. I called my aunt. "Hey, does Grandpa have some kind of medical condition I don't know about? Something that prevents him from driving?" There was a long silence. "You need to talk to your grandfather about this. It's not my place to say." Then she hung up on me. That made it worse. Now I knew for sure something happened. Something the whole family knew about except me. I called my uncle next. "Please, something happened when I asked Grandpa about driving. He started crying and locked himself in his room. What am I missing?" Another long pause. "There was an incident a long time ago. You really need to ask your grandfather. I can't be the one to tell you this." Then he hung up too. My heart was racing now. An incident? What kind of incident? Was this connected to how my parents died? He'd never told me the full story. I went into my grandfather's bedroom while he was still locked away. I started searching through his closet, his dresser drawers, anywhere that might have answers. Then I found it, a filing cabinet in the back of his closet. It was locked. I searched the entire room until I found a small key taped under his desk drawer. My hands were shaking as I opened the cabinet. Inside were thick folders of papers, medical records, legal documents, and right on top was a driver's license. But it wasn't a normal license. It had my grandfather's photo, but stamped across it in red letters were the words, "Permanently revoked, medical disqualification." Under that were diagnosis papers for something called a neurological seizure disorder. The dates on everything were from 17 years ago. The bedroom door opened behind me. My grandfather stood there staring at me, holding his revoked license. His eyes were red from crying. "What is this?" I asked, holding up the license. "Why have you been lying to me? What happened 17 years ago?" My grandfather sat down hard on the bed. "I killed them," he whispered. "I killed your parents." My entire body went cold. "What are you talking about?" "I was driving them to the airport for their anniversary. You were 1 year old at home with a babysitter. I was going 65 on the highway when I had my first seizure ever. No warning. I just blacked out." He was crying now. I woke up 30 seconds later and they were both dead. The doctors said I have a neurological condition that only 1 in 500,000 people have. It stayed dormant for 42 years, then just activated. I had no idea. Everything suddenly made sense. The $1,000 a month on transportation, the lie about being too old, the refusal to teach me, the anxiety around cars. He wasn't being overprotective. He was drowning in guilt from accidentally killing his own son. I sat next to him. "It wasn't your fault. You didn't know." We cried together. Then he handed me a paper from his pocket, medical test results with my name on it. At the bottom it said, "Positive, hereditary neurological seizure disorder." I inherited the same condition.